What's the stupidest thing you've been punished for at school? I have a mild physical disability, but I was perfectly capable of walking up down stairs, carrying all my books, and taking regularly timed tests. But the school got sweet no child left behind $$ for providing accommodations. So I got pulled out of class into meetings where I was told to drop the whole independent act and get my attitude together. They told me that they knew how much I was struggling, and that it was all for my own good. I didn't play along. They proceeded to pull me out of my AP classes once a semester to test my reading fluency. TLDR. If you're disabled, your school can make up rules that will be against you every time. Around 5th grade I was shoved through a window by a playground bully. The school made me, well, my parents, pay for the window. ETA. I was very lucky and only went part way through before I recovered my balance. The shoulder and arm of my shirt were shredded. The t-shirt underneath was sliced up. I was unharmed. Broken glass is scary sharp. The amount of money was small. I believe they demanded payment from the kid who shoved me as well. No idea on the percentages. The principal's theory was you shouldn't have been roughhousing near the building. My dumbfounded response that I wasn't roughhousing. I was walking back from lunch when I was shoved through a window did not impress him. Did my parents actually pay? No clue. I was a kid. When I told my parents what had happened, they told me not to worry about it, that they'd take care of things. Equal odds that my dad paid the bill or that my mom tore the principal's head off. Something similar happened to me. Someone accidentally kicked a ball through a window. I was on the other side of the window and got covered in glass, a little cut up. The school tried to punish me and tried to get my parents to pay for the window, but failed on both counts. In 5th grade a group of friends and I basically went into the boys' room to pee before going back to class. On the way in some kids were exiting. Inside we found a stink bomb. We went outside to tell an adult what we found. She took us to the principal's office. The principal interrogated each of us individually. Apparently someone needed to be punished for the stink bomb. It made no sense since we only found it. We didn't deploy it. Most of us, or at least I thought the kids leaving the bathroom before we went unlikely did it. But that didn't seem to matter. We didn't know their names or anything either. So the principal gave us an ultimatum. Either one of us would be punished or all of us would. We decided to go out together. I still remember this fairly well because it was such a stupid and dumb example of injustice. We were trying to do the right thing but got punished as if we were the culprit. I've waited all my life for this moment. I was in 4th grade and there was a new kid who had just moved here from Europe. I decided to be nice to the kid and asked him what his name was. He told me later, so me being American in America just assumes his name is Lettuce. So me and Lettuce spend the whole day playing together and I show him around. Fast forward to the end of the week. I get called down to the principal's office for bullying some kid. Guess who I see there? Goddamn Lettuce. Apparently he thought I was name calling and reported me to the teacher, which almost got me suspended. Frick you, Lettuce. I laughed. Frickin' Lettuce. I was at a book fair in 1st grade, had some books picked out and was waiting on my dad to show up and get them for me. The book fair was in the library and had windows all around. I saw my dad enter the school and walked out, probably 15 feet from the entrance to the library, still inside the school, with the books in hand to show him. Immediately the librarian came out and escorted me to the principal and accused me of trying to steal. The principal lectured me for 10 minutes, and then banned me from all after school functions until I left elementary. The kicker was after I got out of junior high that principal had become superintendent. Then, shortly after that in my junior year was accused of stealing over $200K from the school district. Hypocritical but motherfucker. About my parents' reaction. First off, my dad was raising us at the time, with the help of my grandma because he was gone driving over the road for work all the time. My mom wasn't around. She had just went to prison for multiple DUIs. Looking back, the problem would have got resolved a lot quicker because she didn't play around with her kids. Even though she was an alcoholic, she was a good mom for the time she was around. Anyway, since she wasn't there during this particular incident, and I really hadn't figured out a way to effectively argue for my innocence without my dad understandably questioning it, the punishment went unchallenged. Until amended. until I managed I was going to be losing a lot of friends, going to different schools and such. So, I told my dad I wanted to go and he went up there and basically told her that I was gonna be there whether she liked it or not, she could go frick herself. My high school had a massive problem with people being late to class, and decided that after 3 years of doing nothing, they needed to get off their asses and do something about it. I was always notorious for walking in about 5 seconds before the last bell, had it down to a goddamn science. However, no teachers ever really cared. I would always be in my seat before the bell and never disrupted anything. One day all of our teachers were instructed by the principal to close and lock their doors 1 minute before the bell and send anyone who came after that to the main hall to register for detention. A little over 100 students were punished as a result of this, many of which had their lockers in a separate building because the main building didn't have enough and needed to grab supplies for their next class. TLDR. Roughly 100 of my classmates and myself were punished for being on time to class. My English teacher was giving out handouts. I was the last one in my row and let her know she missed me. She then sent me to the dean who didn't believe me when I told him why I was sent there. After he called her to confirm, he just told me to sit tight for a few minutes then go back to class. I was later told by friends that when he called her, her response was, well, he was so annoying. She also once sent a classmate to the dean for blowing his nose. I just love teachers that freak out over students being annoying. They're kids. Kids are annoying. That is to be expected. It's like punishing an old person for walking slowly or coughing. I have a friend with pretty severe CP and he got dumped in our local crappy high school when his amazing program got cancelled. His aide put him in an armless chair in the cafeteria, totally against everything in his IEP. My friend fell off the chair, which didn't surprise me since he was supposed to be strapped into a specifically designed wheelchair. He hit his head, which caused a seizure. His seizures don't stop without medication that our school wouldn't keep on premise because there was no nurse. I started carrying it when I caught his aide putting him in unsafe chairs. Anyway, he falls, hits his head and starts seizing. His aide just starts yelling at him. I yell at the lunch lady to call 911. She tells me not to tell her what to do. My friend runs out of the cafeteria to find a phone. Before cell phones, I head for my friend with the medication. I administer the medication. The ambulance shows up 25 minutes later with the vice principal, who immediately begins screaming at me in front of the entire cafeteria that I'm going to be sorry and I'm suspended. Okay, so what? I just saved my friend's life. I'll be suspended. My friend had no lasting effects, thankfully. Our moms banded together and showed up at the school threatening everyone from the aide to the lunch lady who refused to call for help. The issue was dropped. A week later I'm called down to the principal's office. He says that they've reviewed the incident and based on my behavior they've decided to not allow me to walk at graduation. I hadn't been planning on it anyway and actually hadn't even ordered a cap and gown. When I pointed this out, I watched the principal turn an amazing shade of red in that they'd already agreed to not punish me further for the incident. I even had a copy of the paperwork everyone had signed. The principal then turned purple. I left the office laughing at him. He then spent the rest of the year trying to find a way to keep me from graduation. Every time he started in on me, I just pulled the paperwork out. The paperwork said that if I were punished, the moms would sue. I walked at graduation and told him exactly what I thought of him that day. I yell at the lunch lady to call 911. She tells me not to tell her what to do. I freaking hate it when school administration doesn't understand when it's appropriate to act out their bizarre power plays. Children are hurt. Diane. When I was 11 years old, me and another kid fell out on a Friday at school. Nothing serious, just kid stuff. On the following Tuesday we were both playing for the school football team and we were still not getting on talking. Whilst practicing on the side of the pitch mid-game, we both went to intercept a pass, along with another kid, and neither of us won the ball. But nothing really happened there. As I moved away, he follows me and punches me square in the face. I go down like a sack of potatoes. I'd never been punched before and goddamn it hurt. When I get up, I tell my dad. He confronts this kid's parents. Shouting ensues, etc. The next thing I know is in school we are both being pulled out of class as I'm being accused of kicking him in the leg when we and another kid went for the ball and nothing happened. I did not kick him. The teachers wanted to get to the bottom of the story, as our teacher was best friends with this kid's dad. They believed him. In the end, I got punished, behavior report card, detention. School even tried to make me take anger management classes. Like frick I was going to go to that. The other kid, nothing. He punched me in the face and got no punishment. What a load of balls that still grinds on me to this day. TLDR. Kid punched me in the face. I got punished. I did not kick him. Oh, hi Mark. It was business class in middle school. Wasn't business. It was just a basic computer and typing course. I typed 120 at the time, and the teacher typed around 70. I remember one time I finished the whole week's assignments in one day and asked her if I could do anything else. I don't type with correct form, so she forced me to type like that, and I typed around 40 WPM. She hated me. Anyways, one class I had finished all my work 30 minutes early and I was drawing. I put it away as she was walking by because I was satisfied, and she made me take it out. She said that's not the drawing and looked through my entire bag. She took out a drawing of a sword and gave me a referral. It wasn't allowed because it was a weapon. TLDR. Teacher looked through my bag, found a drawing of a sword, gave me a referral because it was a weapon. In middle school, a substitute teacher for computer class confiscated my $30 headphones. It was a gift from my parents, over the fact that she believed I was listening to inappropriate music. We were allowed to play music videos from Yahoo in the background as we worked. I was listening to the newest music as was everyone else in class. She pulled me up in front of everyone and said the music videos I was playing had adult content and that she understood I was just going through a hormonal bloom. WTF. But it's still inappropriate for the learning environment. My face turned beet red and I just sat down in embarrassment. I still have no idea what was so inappropriate, especially since I wasn't even watching them. The worst part is that I asked my regular teacher the next day for my headphones, and apparently she either took them or threw them away. I'm still mad and confused about this, LOL. In kindergarten my teacher was handing out these worksheets with shapes and I already knew how to do it. Since I sat near the teacher, I got my paper first and decided to finish it as soon as possible. I circled the correct matching shapes and sat calmly at my table. When the teacher came back around the classroom and saw that I had completed my sheet, yelled at me, took it away and forced me to put my head down. Later when the kids went out for recess I was told to stay in my desk. I never understood what I did wrong to deserve such a cruel punishment. For a 5-6-year-old. You finished too quickly, so clearly you cheated. I used to get accused of faking it while reading. I was on a 4th+ grade level when it came to reading in grade 1. Teachers would constantly say I was lying or faking it because I could read super fast. I was in 2nd grade and asked to go to the bathroom. Teacher said no. I asked again, this time begging. Was told to sit at my desk and be quiet. I peed in my pants and when the student next to me screamed it out the teacher sent me to the office. I was thinking it was to get changed. Nope. She sent me to the office with a referral for disrupting class and making a mess of the classroom, stating that I had poured water on myself and the floor. I was so embarrassed about peeing myself when I went to the office I was crying profusely. The principal asked if I had done it and I couldn't even speak because I was crying so hard. All I could do was shake my head. When my teacher called my parents and told them I had misbehaved in class by pouring water on the floor and myself, my dad was furious. He went full on Joe Pesci and Goodfellas on her butt and the principal at a beating the next day. Why the heck would a 2nd grade boy put up with that kind of embarrassment just to prove a point? Where would he even get water if he wasn't allowed to leave the classroom? Did you taste the pee to even see if it was water? No? Well, next time maybe you should. I was no longer the boy who peed himself, but the boy whose father told Ms. Paul and Principal Garcia to drink my pee. Punching a girl. I didn't actually punch her. This still pisses me off. Back in 5th grade there was this chick in my grade. Big, fat and stupid as frick. She was one of those chicks that like to cause drama wherever she goes and was a problem child. Think back. Remember that loud and annoying kid in class that took up 2 seats? Was loud. disruptive and resembled the missing link that was her. Anyways, we were in line for lunch and she tried to push me out of the way. Now, I was a regular size 5th grader and she was about the size of a chick that could eat a 5th grader. I got mad and didn't budge. She started yelling and a teacher came over and that bee told her that I punched her. I said that I didn't punch her. Everyone that was in the line said they saw the whole thing and that I hadn't punched her. Literally no one except her claimed that. 2 weeks suspension. Frick you, Mr. Roach, and frick that soon to be convict. Hopefully you punched her later and said now we're even. In high school I had a verbally abusive band director. First class of the day and he would go purple in the face yelling insults at the class for not being good enough, even though we consistently won awards. One day he went further than usual and threw a music stand at the tuba section. He didn't hit anyone, but it was pretty close. The class was shocked, but I stood up and bolted for the door. I was on the opposite end of the room from the flying furniture, and closest to the hallway. He chased me the entire way to the administration office where he yelled over my plea for help to demand to talk to the principal before I could tell them what happened. I got to tell my side of the story after he left, but it only got me 2 weeks in school suspension for leaving class without permission. He still teaches there. It sucks that he wasn't the only angry band director I've ever had, and that I frequently hear of other band directors who just lose their crap at the students. One of my friends in primary school had serious anger issues and some behavioral mental problems and our teacher never dealt with him properly. She pushed him and only made him angrier. So one day at the end lunch he exploded over something. Can't remember what, and one of his other friends and I pulled him aside to try and calm him. Everything was fine for a while and he was relatively calm, but we were late for class. Our teacher came over and started screaming at us for being late. We tried to explain but she was having none of it. He just lost it all over again and ran off. We all got detention for it. Seriously, if you don't know how to handle kids, why are you a teacher? In grade 4 I was bullied often, but this one particular day one of my bullies went to the extreme for some reason. I was sitting in class working on an assignment where we would use colorful shaped blocks to make an image. Afterwards we would write about what we made. I would often get excited and quickly show my teacher what I did and try to feel accomplished. At the corner of my eye my classmate, who is also my bully and was sitting next to me at the time, was sharpening a pencil. I didn't pay too much attention to it because I thought he was doing his own thing. Lo and behold, he was sharpening his pencil to stab me in the ribcage. I was on the ground, bleeding and in crazy amount of pain. In the end the guy got off free while I was suspended for a week without any context as to why. Holy crap, if I were your parents I would have raised heck. So not really me but my best friend. My friend moved to Australia from the UK in the 5th grade. I had a reputation with some teachers as a bad kid, but I was really just easily distracted, more interested in a good time and didn't want to take crap. So anyway, we were in a composite class as we were the top class, so there weren't heaps of other 5th grade boys in there and I ended up being the kid asked to look after this new guy from the UK. So anyway, he came to the school and we hit it off, and in his first science class we had this teacher that was also my maths teacher who hated my butt. Anyway, true to form I got in trouble for something and my teacher goes to my English friend who had literally not done anything. You can either move seats and not hang out with Barden, me, anymore, or you can have a detention. He copped the detention like a bad butt and a few years ago he was best man at my wedding. I was a dumb 1st grader and stuck a sticker on my crotch because my friends thought that was hilarious. A teacher lady proceeds to pick me up by my hair. We were sitting cross-legged for story time. Drag me to my desk and scream at me for a good 5 minutes. Also in 8th grade, I had gone to Ash Wednesday church before school and came in with the ash cross on my forehead. Most of the other kids weren't Catholic, so they were kind of causing a scene asking about it in class. My teacher told me to go wash it off. I told her what it was and that it had to do with my religion, but she made me anyways. She ended up getting in trouble from the principal and apologized to me. I went to a Catholic school. I'm gay and Jewish. The sports teacher was ranting about gays and I just said I think that's wrong and frankly insulting. I was sent to the head of Ray who said that being gay wasn't against the rules. Yay. But apparently aggression and aggressive gays were. I told him I'd sue and go to the newspapers. The following are verbatim quotes. Fine. Suspend me. I'll walk out of here and I'll call all the newspapers I can. then a lawyer. Oh, I'm sure a 15-year-old is a lawyer. I'm Jewish. I've got 4 on speed dial. No further action was taken. But the sports teacher allegedly told the rugby team not to be too close to me in the locker rooms. Fun fact, I was freaking one of the rugby team. I was bullied pretty badly in 6th grade. It was mostly over my weight and my tendency to eat quickly, though I ate fairly healthily. 3 boys and 2 girls were sitting around my desk, calling me names like piggy and fat cow. The teacher was standing only a few rows in front of me, watching the whole thing go down. I decided to write something out to vent my frustration. It read as follows: roses are red, tires are thick, I hope you step on a Lego brick. These swipes took the note from me and showed it to the teacher. I wept and said that they were calling me names and I hadn't even given them the note, and I received the only detention I had ever had in my school career. I was passed over for several awards for outstanding behavior because one of the mothers of the bullies was on the PTA and demanded I be dropped because I didn't give them the non-threatening note. I had walked out of the detention room crying while the girls tailed me, asking how was your trip? Did you like detention? Also, the art teacher who had witnessed the whole event and knew what dipshits those kids were, had the balls to ask me if I was going to be continuing with her class. I remember saying no, not with you, and then leaving. Later on that year, one of the boys who had bullied me had started a rumor that I sucked dong for $20. I was 11, and I wasn't even allowed to watch SpongeBob SquarePants. I actually overheard him saying that behind me, but he only said my first name, and my first name is pretty common. Then, I heard him say it again, and point at me when he said it. So, I hit him with my backpack, and told him that if he ever said that about me again I would hit him with my hands. I was almost expelled for that. Apparently, the boy, whose mommy was on the PTA, came home crying that I had hit him for no reason. Since I had already gotten a detention for harassing that boy, they called my mom and told her that I was in direct violation of the no bullying policy. My mom erupted. She screamed at them what the boy had said about me, and she said that she'd have done the exact same thing, and that she refused to let me get in trouble for being bullied. Turns out, they hadn't even bothered to pull the camera footage from the hallway to verify the boy's story that I had come out of nowhere and hit him. They saw, very clearly, the boy point at me and say something to his friend, then I, absolutely disgusted, turned around and hit him with my backpack. It was practically empty, as shown on film. The boy was suspended for a week. I would have been expelled if my mom hadn't demanded they pull the footage. The principal had dragged the boy through the halls, berating him all the way while he cried like a pea. His troop didn't speak to me ever again. WTF is wrong with those kids? If you are new to the channel, you can subscribe. I publish new videos every day. Until then, check another video. Bye for now.